But first, parents are scrambling to find baby formula across the U.S. Tens of thousands of parents are spending hours driving to stores in search of the product, only to find empty shelves. As Elise Preston reports, families are feeling helpless as they try to nourish their babies. Elise.
Lana, the Department of Health and Human Services launched a website Friday to help frustrated families find formula in hopes of easing the burden in this crippling shortage.
I'm constantly stressed about it.
It's terrifying.
I just don't understand why it's taking so long.
Fed up, angry, and heartbroken, parents from coast to coast are scrambling to find formula to feed their hungry and helpless babies.
I can't be doing this. I can't be running to 10 different stores every single month trying to find her formula. What else can I do?
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are launching an investigation as to how this frightful formula shortage even happened. The House Oversight Committee wants to know how the nation's top producers are going to get formula back onto store shelves.
Yeah!
For new mothers like Kelly McHenry, it cannot come soon enough.
Everything is new to us, and now having to worry about if I'm going to have enough formula to feed my baby, some days is unbearable.
The shortage began festering several months ago, fueled by ongoing supply chain problems. It exploded into a nationwide crisis when Abbott Nutrition recalled 3 types of infant formula in February after 4 babies developed bacterial infections. 2 died. The company shut down its largest plant in Michigan. Today, President Biden responded to critics who say that his administration could have acted sooner.
If we'd been better mind readers, I guess we could have, but we moved as quickly as the problem became apparent to us.
The White House said it is considering invoking the Defense Production Act to help control the emergency long term.
This is a process. We're working on it very, very hard. There's nothing more urgent.
Breastfeeding moms are helping fill the shortage. Many are donating extra milk to banks like this one in New York.
Did you ever imagine something like this would happen?
No, I don't think any of us could have predicted this.
We found 2.
After 3 weeks of searching, Kelly McHenry finally found formula, but she's not keeping it all to herself.
I'm going to post to see if another mom needs this type of formula. We got to help each other out.
While families are turning to different methods to feed their babies, next week the FDA is expected to announce plans detailing how international companies can import formula here to the U.S. Lana?
All right, Elise, thank you. For more, I am joined by Dr. Suzette Oyeku. Good to see you again. She is the chief of the Division of Academic General Pediatrics at the Children's Hospital at Montefiore. As mothers, fathers who have been through this process know, all formulas are not the same. So what should parents do if they can't find their baby's particular formula?
So I think the first thing is having a conversation with their pediatrician. So depending on their baby's specific nutritional needs, it may be likely that they could actually switch formulas. So for most babies, depending on what formula they're on, you might be able to switch it. There are some children who have special needs, who are on elemental formulas, who have chronic medical conditions or genetic conditions, and they need specialized formula. In those kids, it's really a partnership between the parent and their pediatric specialist to be able to figure out what's the right options in terms of substituting the formula for them.
And we know that some of those specialty formulas are among those that are being difficult to find right now. So what are some of the things that parents shouldn't do?
So some of the things that the parents shouldn't do, I think the first thing is that you shouldn't add water to stretch your formula. I think many parents, one is just to remain calm. I know that parents, the biggest thing that they want to do is feed their babies. And so remaining calm is important. So we encourage people not to dilute the formula with water. Why? Because that can actually cause electrolyte abnormalities. It can lead to dehydration. It could also lead to seizures. And we've unfortunately seen that happen most recently of late, where, unfortunately a baby had to be hospitalized because the formula was being diluted. So this is one thing that parents should not do. The other is not making homemade formula. There are recipes that are circulating online, and many people have talked about, in the past, from the early 1920s, people were using evaporated milk. But we know from studies that formulas based on evaporated milk actually are low in iron. They're low in other key nutrients. and they don't have all the nutrients that your infant needs for brain as well as growth and development. So we don't recommend that you do home-based formulas, because we know from the studies that this is not actually good for the babies and does not impact, does not bode well for their development in terms of their brains.
So how are the concerns different for parents of newborns, infants, and toddlers?
So for parents of newborns, I think there's a couple of considerations. So if you're able, breastfeeding is still a great option for families in terms of feeding their infants. So their breastfeeding, it should be a consideration for families, unless there's a medical contraindication to the child not being able to breastfeed. We know that breastfeeding is a great option. And if you stop breastfeeding, you can actually restart after having a gap. And lactation consultants, your pediatricians, your family doctors can be able to help you to be able to support that. So that's one of the big considerations, is what babies who are less than 6 months of age primarily are fed through either breast milk or formula. Normally, we start introducing complementary foods, so either fruits and vegetables, rice cereal. Normally, rice cereal is the first thing that might be introduced as early as 4 months of age. And so, but most people, it's those first 4 to 5 months. That's where the biggest concern that people are having right now. But there are options. And I think in the lead up into the piece, I think people are beginning to work collaboratively to be able to help one another to be able to meet the need. But I just want to reiterate that if breastfeeding is an option for you, that's a great way to give nutrition to your child. And then the other is considering switching between brands. If the brands that you're using are not available, you can switch between brands. But definitely always talk to your pediatrician or family medicine doctor.
Definitely talk to your doctor. You know, one quick little suggestion that I heard is, if you're going to mix and switch brands, because we know babies can be fussy, start weaning them off of it by mixing those two different types of formulas together, and the baby's more likely to take to it. All right.
That's definitely excellent point. Excellent point. Thank you so much. Yes,
Sure
definitely
thing.
excellent.
Dr. Suzette Oyeku, we know that there are a lot of parents that are very concerned about this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.